Hello, this is Royal New Yorker with RivalNewYork.com. I'm a little delayed. I'm doing a Mets spring training update. Uh, you know, Looking at spring training, you don't really know what to make of the stats, so they really don't mean anything unless you see Chris Bryant go off for what was it? I feel like it was almost like 10 home runs or something when he was waiting to come up, and of course they didn't. They kept him down until he was after the Super 2 eligibility, which really, I think he then sued the team. But either way, getting to the point, spring training doesn't matter at the end of the day, especially for pitchers where they're trying to just find their feel for pitches. But either way, I thought it would be helpful to go over the Mets lineup and just talk about where everybody sort of stands. So let's start with the rotation. Um, you know, You've got Syndergaard. He hadn't given up any runs. Now he's got an illness and ended up giving up a couple of runs in his most recent start. He's still on pace to start opening day, but either way, he's going to be great. DeGrom is looking nasty. There was an article mentioning it's almost like a video game for him at this point. He's really got a feel playing with the injury he had last year, and now playing pain free he's just a different pitcher, and he's really locked in. And I mean, it's going to be him in my opinion, him and Syndergaard at the top, really seeing who that 1-2 punch is. It's not just, even though most people think that Syndergaard ran away with it, you're going to see the two of them competing to be the ace. Then you've got Matz. Yeah, I'm putting Matz next as the number 3. He's looked fantastic. I like that because he's one of my keepers in my fantasy league, so he's looked very good. And he's going to surprise a lot of people, and I think this is the year he finally makes a name for himself across the league. Then you've got Harvey. Harvey's velocity is down, which is not a good thing, and a lot of people have been talking about that. He has not looked good out there. It's almost like the same thing that was happening to him last year, where he would come in, look great for the first 4 to 5 innings, and then just fall apart. The velocity being down and similarities, it all comes back to thoracic outlet syndrome. No pitcher has ever come back and been the same pitcher or better than they were, unlike Tommy John, where players have come back better, equal to, but we'll see what we get out of him, but it's not looking great. So moving on, Zach Wheeler, who most of us believe he'll be in extended spring training, and they might delay him in AAA to really let him out. Gesellman and Lugo both make the squad. Probably Gesellman's the starter, but Wheeler touched 97 miles per hour today. I think it was today or yesterday. Well, no, I'm releasing this. So either way, the Wheeler in his most recent outing hit 97 on the gun, which is very encouraging. He did give up a couple of runs, which it is what it is. It's spring training, but that's good. If we can have him, potentially come in, give the Mets 15 to 20 starts this year, with his innings limit. I think they're saying 115-ish, 120. That can make up for the potential loss of Harvey or the diminished play by Harvey. Going to first base. First base is going to be a mixed bag. Dude is back in there. He's playing pretty well. He's locked in. He is going to miss time, so that's, with his back injury, and it's chronic, so you're going to see him out of games. The Mets have a group that's going to support him. You got Wilmer Flores for against lefties. Neil Walker has raised his hand, saying he's willing to try some first base, especially if Wright comes back and they need to get Reyes in, and it's the best combination, the best lineup. Move him over. Obviously, Jay Bruce has raised his hand. Conforto. I love, if something happens to Duda, we can move Bruce there. That opens it up, so either Juan Lagares can play center or Conforto can play left field. So I'm pretty excited about all the people raising their hands at first base. Obviously, Duda playing well, Bruce playing well, and then, Granderson and Cespedes, that would be a pretty potent outfield first base hitting. Again, second base, Walker's doing pretty well, 3 home runs, batting .300. Okay, I think we're gonna get out of him what we got last year. And again, he's in a walk year, so I think we're gonna get maybe not 17 million worth, but we're gonna get something out of him. Then shortstop is Drupal Cabrera. He's locked in. He's ready to go. Third base, Jose Reyes is obviously, many of you might have heard about his legal issues, but let's just move on from that. Let's move on from that. Let's stay inside the lines. Outfield, Cespedes just did a really cool piece in the Players Tribune, which you should all check out if you're a Mets fan. I mean, it was pretty. It made you really feel for the guy, and even though he's walking around with $100,000 cars that are souped up. He has a work ethic to him that's really impressive on his ranch, and they talk about his where he started out and everything, and why he came to be, why he wanted to be on the Mets. So check it out on the Players Tribune. I'll put the link right below the video. Other than that, I mean, d'Arnaud has looked good. I think you're going to, like I said, he's my breakout candidate for the Mets. I think Yoenis Cespedes is going to play like an MVP, which he's professed to. And I do think Steven Matz is going to poke his head into and the Mets are going to have a threesome that, between DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Matz that nobody wants to mess with. Still waiting for Major League Baseball to make a ruling on Jeurys Familia. Hasn't happened. It's expected to happen once the World Baseball Classic ends. They just happened to get him in there, made sure he was eligible to play. Long story short, the Mets are, I think everyone around the team is feeling optimistic about this team, and it's not just the normal optimism that all teams share in spring training. The Mets are going to find themselves back in the World Series. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I just saw something with Bakota. They're picked instead of the Nationals to win the NL East by a game. I'm feeling good about the Mets, and I think their rotation is going to just destroy teams. I think there's going to be, and their lineup is predicted to be 8th in the National League, which and the second least amount of runs. So they're going to be a very good team, and I think the Cubs are going to have a team. They're going to be looking at the Mets, which is surprising. Everyone thinks the Nationals, but I think the Nationals are going to have some pitching issues, and their lineup isn't going to be as good as it was last year. It's either equal to or less. But either way, this is Royal New Yorker signing off for RivalNewYork.com. Check back in for more updates on Mets, Yankees, Giants, and Jets.